Okay, alright then. Oh, you've been about it previously? Yeah. Yeah, probably, yeah. But I think I got that one last. Might try this one.
We're at the Beermoth bottle shop in the northern quarter of Manchester. There's some great breweries around here, but your bottle shop gets its names thrown around with those great breweries. Why do you think that is?
This is one of the oldest independent bottle shop in the UK, and when this shop opened, it wasn't that much tap rooms or anything like that. We had a few decent breweries, like classic ones, you know, Marlborough and the old ones. But it just wasn't too many bottle shops at all, so that was the owner's idea that
The success of your bottle shops resulted in you opening it up a bar in the city centre.
Here downstairs we had like a little kind of tasting room, so that was before the bar, but it's quite quickly turned up that size-wise is just not enough. So we just wanted to offer to people some bar which only focus on craft beers, but like a variety of import beers, local beers as well. It's a little bit like a European style craft beer bar. I think that was like a great idea because people are still looking for just like, you know, sitting and sipping these beers. And what we offer over there is pretty much all the shatter bottles what we have here. We have them over there as well. On tap, mostly have beers what turn up here in the shop as well. So if you just, you know, fancy something to try, not necessarily wanna pay X amount for like a big bottle, it's many times they offer similar beers on tap over there. I think that was like a great idea. It's in the city centre, but not in the most crowded area of the city centre, so it's still most of the time nice and relaxed.
And as the British craft beer scene has grown, have you relied less on imports and more on British breweries?
We decreased a little bit of the American things because, you know, of the long shipping, getting hoppy stuff is quite difficult unless you order it directly from breweries, which is usually the expensive way. But we have like many bottle aged things like sours, stouts, barley wines, that kind of things. We still have some, but we're focusing a little bit more on like more accessible beers, like European import stuff, especially the Belgian things. We have like a very decent selection of German beers, which is, you know, there's a little bit like a gap in the lager drinking.
Yeah.
Here in the UK, I mean, so many people just don't know much about German beers other than a straight up Hellas. So we try to just focus a bit more on like seasonal German brews. Just yesterday we restocked again a very nice German stout, which is, I mean, to me is not necessarily the most German beer style at all. But I've tried it when we had that last time. Pretty amazing thing, really nice. It's more like a dry stout. So, you know, I'm sure it's going to be like very popular. The first few batch we had, it's sold out in a day or two because, you know, people just want to try new things. And as I said, like a stout namely is not necessarily the most German thing, so people's into that. But we have like these days we have many box because this is pretty much the season for that. We always have like a bit unique things like, you know, rug beers, good selection of wheat beers. We found a supplier who's delivering us like small, a little bit more niche German breweries who's never really made it to the UK before.
This street that we're in right now is like quite a few independent sort of businesses, and do you think that helps with the bottle shop being Tib Street?
I'm a huge fan of independent businesses anyway. To me, craft beer as it is pretty much should serve like the local communities. Really obviously depends on the size of your brewery, but the main focus should be supporting your locals with your craft beer. We obviously try to just get import things as well, but we're always focusing a lot of local businesses, do collaborations with local businesses, who's just giving jobs for people is always an important thing, especially these days.
How do you collaborate with some of the businesses that aren't beer related?
We did events like, you know, pick some local cheesemongers and did like a beer and cheese pairing event with them. We also have like a beer and cheese subscription box, like a monthly one, which again we try to support like local cheesemakers.
Do you have any tips for people at home who might want to try like, pairing cheese or with beer?
Yeah, I mean, to me, because I like to eat, I like to drink beers, so I like spicy meat in general. So if you want to eat anything spicy, maybe a little bit over spicy, to me it's always a great idea something more forward beer. I especially prefer like wheat beers, mainly German style wheat beers, because it just takes a little bit the edge of the spiciness in your food. So I think that's a really good compliment. It's a classic for your desserts. Get again some more forward like stouts, porters, which to me is a little bit harder to pair with food or like very hoppy beers because of the particular hoppiness to it. But if you have something a bit more like neutral flavored cheese, it also can be a good idea to pair it with something like a nice pale ale, something not overly bitter, obviously. Sour beers are amazing pair for cheeses, especially like crazy soft cheeses. It goes very well with American sours or even lambics. So that's always a great idea. But I keep like to say to people that like your personal taste should be the first. I mean, might something work really well to me, but you just go with the opposite, and it works really well to you. So I keep recommending to people to just like try different things, buy a few different beers, get your favorite food, try it with all of them.
And what would you say to somebody whose first time it is in a bottle shop?
I personally always ask anyone that what is his favorite beer, or what is the beer he likes to drink at the moment, what he want to try, and try to just focus on getting something close but still a little bit different to whatever he mentioned. Just open a little bit his taste. But there are people who just want something classic, even if this is like a craft beer shop. Like so many people just still love the bitters, or just like a nice easy drinker golden ale. So we always have something like that. But also try to focus on all the new releases, especially from the UK, to just really offer something for everyone. Like a nice decent pale ale is always a safe choice if someone is like new to craft beers.
Do you like make an effort to keep tabs on all the new breweries opening up on Manchester?
Yeah, we're focusing on all the new breweries. We like to just try everything because you never know that who's going to be the next big name. We are quite lucky in Manchester. We have like so many good breweries in the north in general, but especially in Manchester. So it's just no point to just miss anyone out.
Yeah. What is it do you think about Manchester that's made the brewing scene so successful?
Can't help to think that like people just like to drink more in Manchester than similar towns. I mean, I moved 7 years ago to Manchester and I met so many nice people, I've heard so many good stories, but pretty much all the stories involved somehow some beers.
Now we move on to the £10 bottle shop haul section. So it's simple really, I give the bottle shop owner £10 to spend in their shop with just the instructions that I like. Traditional beers, IPAs, stouts, sours, the works, and see what they come up with.
Yeah, definitely go with one of these Utopian guys.
Oh yeah, the good Utopian.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they do it, but like super cheap, really good quality lagers, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I had the Vienna lager and it was on point.
This is my favourite as well, and I love these darker lagers anyway. Well, these guys are spot on. Dan, highly recommend these stuff, because this is our new collaboration with SQUAWK. I just brewed this beer for the birthday of Beermoth before. It's a rebrew actually, because we just made that the first time right before the pandemic. Well, then like 2 days after every bar closed, so we rebrewed this. Really nice, super rich. It's actually more of a pale ale than a table beer. But I hope it's a brew. I recommend it stuff. Last week I had a bit too much of these. Tried all the different versions.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Then speak one more, which should be in Manchester Brewery, the Sureshot guys. So I heard about them.
Sureshot.
Like the head brewer is George Campbell. You've been the head brewer of Gladwood, founder as well. He used to work before at Marlborough. He knows his thing. So this is his latest pale ale, super sessionable, really good. Have a nice big bite of the bitterness. So highly recommend this stuff as well. Yeah.
As you can see, we've got 3 beers here, and the one that you had the most to talk about was this collaboration between Beermoth, the bottle shop itself, and SQUAWK Brewery.
Almost every year we try to do some collaboration for the birthday, because otherwise, we don't really have our own branded beer at all. But I like to do like collaborations. So we did this particular beer earlier, just right before the pandemic. But then obviously every bar being closed, so we didn't really have the chance to sell it. So we definitely wanted to rebrew these. So we made it for our Daisy's birthday. And I think it's pretty much a very successful beer. And I tried it when we did the event like last week in our bar. And that beer is a little bit over the normal table beer strength, but also by the mouthfeel, by the flavor. It's more closer to like a decent pale ale. So it's packed with flavors. Last week I had a bit more than the necessary of these because I tried all the different versions in one day. I'm very happy with this beer.
As is customary. Let's get this out the can and see what it looks like. Oh. So most table beers come in around the 2.5% mark. This is a bit stronger at 3.5%. The style table beer comes from medieval times when this beer would be left on the table, essentially to be drunk by even children when water wasn't safe to drink. It's a very weak beer, and it came back into the use in the 19th century because of taxation laws, and beers being below 4% had less tax, so therefore there was a market for beers brewed at lower ABVs. In theory, it can mean any beer that's around this strength. Nowadays it is mostly a weaker hoppy pale ale or IPA.
I don't drink too much super sessionable beers, mainly because I just like big flavors, and many of these low ABV beers just don't have that big flavors how I like it. This beer is definitely a different one. I mean, it's packed that much. It's more like a very nice pale ale of the better ones. So you never say when you have a sip of these that this is 3.5%. It really tastes just like a 5%. So yeah, you just get way more bang for your buck than what I expected. So that's one of the reasons. The other reason is I'm a fan of several hops. I just really like the flavor of it. All those pineapples, all those coconuts. I'm pretty much impressed with the hop itself. And this is the leading flavor in this particular beer, which I think is just good if you're talking about like a low ABV beer. If you have some strong flavors on the hop side, I think it always helps.
So let's get the aroma. Getting a lot of coconut and punchy citrus fruits. A lot of haze on this. A little bit of mint as well. So not one for dwelling on aromas too much. Let's dive in and see if it's up to the hype. That definitely does not taste like a 3.5% beer. It tastes, a lot stronger. It's got a lot of punchy, hoppy flavours, as he said, and a lot of sort of strong, lasting sort of piney bitterness. A bit of grapefruit piney bitterness. It is lovely, and you really do get the Sagro hops coming through. Lots of coconutty, stone fruit, citrus, a little bit of mint. Like, it's a really good beer. Ugh. Thanks. Yeah, I'm gonna give this one an 8 out of 10. So next up is this British Pilsner by Utopian Brewing. It's the first of their core range that I've had, but I've had some of their specials that were amazing, so I'm really looking forward to this one. They work with British ingredients to produce European style lagers.
I have a feeling I like all style of beers. There are obviously a few of my favorites, but I appreciate more and more like a very well made lager, which is pretty much like a very German or Czech thing. I mean, if you're talking about the original this time. But let's talk about the Utopian guys, who I think doing a pretty amazing job.
Yeah.
They have like a wide range of different lagers, very well made, all of them, very reasonable prices. You pretty much have everything you want. They have like Czech style lagers, have German style lagers, have the Vienna lagers, so have like seasonal brews. Earlier we had box by them as well, which was pretty amazing. Yeah, the Maibock.
Yeah. And yeah, very affordable as well.
This is like one more thing which obviously helped selling these things. Like, you know, the price is, so many people just say like, yeah, but craft beer is just too expensive compared to what you can find in like supermarkets or like, you know, chain pubs. But these guys are like a good example that it's not necessarily true. So you can do like pretty amazing quality beers for very reasonable prices.
Without further ado, let's dive in. Oh, that is crisp. Yeah, it's a really nice drinkable lager. Sort of slight lemony flavours and a nice malty bill, but you know, they've nailed the crisp refreshingness that you kind of get from the German and Czech craft lagers that you don't quite get in the commercial ones. And yeah, as I mentioned, the price, like for not too much more than what you pay in a supermarket, you're getting a far better beer. So you know, if you're used to drinking commercial lagers and want to try craft beer, this is definitely a place to start. I mean, it's an unfussy beer. It's a pure Pilsner, but it's a great example. I'll give this one a 7 out of 10. So for the final beer, we have this Pale Ale by Sureshot Brewery, one of the new kids on the block in Manchester. This is the first batch of beers they produced, and this is how much does water weigh. It's 4.2% Pale Ale with Centennial, Galaxy and Citrus. I'm expecting a load of peachy, citrusy, stone fruit, real mix of fruity flavours, and other than that I'm largely going in blind. It's the first beer of these guys that I've had.
This particular brewery, you know, the head brewer guy have a history, so we all know he used to work at Marlborough, he used to work at Cloudwater, so he really knows his thing, especially if you're talking about the hoppy stuff. So obviously we wanted to give a try of his new range. We are pretty satisfied with it. I think very well made beers what they did.
Let's take in the aroma. Yeah, a lot of peach, a little bit of stone fruit. Let's dive in. Ooh, that is nice. It's a nice gentle pale ale, really sessionable. A little bit of a kick, but mostly just some nice peachy flavours coming through. Stone fruit, really nice mouthfeel. Give it that. To be honest, I think I'm gonna revise this one up because the more I drank it, the more I was impressed. I'm gonna give this one an 8.5. And this one's an 8 out of 10, and yeah, this one's the pick of the bunch. But two great beers. Like, this is a great classic Pilsner, and this is a great example of a pale ale for a super sessionable and lovely. So if you're in Manchester, check out Beermoth, and yeah, you can get some great beers for £10.